How's it going? My name's Colin Winters. I'm the host of Panthers Place, and today we're going over the absolutely fucking pathetic loss to the Minnesota Vikings, 21-13. And yeah, this loss was fucking pathetic, and I am at my wit's end with how positive I am trying to be with this team. I've been trying my best to not overreact, to not get too angry at this team, to be patient with this head coach, which is in his first year with our team, with this rookie quarterback, with this offensive line who has to have a bunch of new pieces come in because of injury, with these receivers. I've tried to be patient, but frankly now I'm done. Before I go on into my never-ending rant about why this game was so terrible and why the Panthers are in a worse spot than I even thought they were the last video I made, I'm going to go over a few things that I thought were good. Something a little bit lighthearted. So, we're just going to go down the list. It's in no particular order to the timeline of the game, but Chuba Hubbard, he looked pretty good. I think he should be the main back going forward because for some reason Miles Sanders just isn't playing up to the skill level that he was playing last year. I said this before, I don't know if it's just him taking a step back, if he's having mental issues, or if he's just not a good back if he's not behind the best offensive line in the league, but he's not doing anything good for us, but Chuba Hubbard is. And Chuba Hubbard was a bright spot this game, made a good few open field moves to get out of tackles, and had a few good hard runs to be able to get a few first downs. Was really good for us on fourth and short, so Chuba Hubbard did a very nice job. Another thing for the offensive side of good things is that Bryce Young actually looked pretty good this game when it came to him throwing the ball. When he had the opportunities, he was able to find the man that he needed to find, and put up pretty good numbers. He was 26 for 33 and 209 yards, so can't really scoff at that. Nothing, it's not great, and you would want to see more out of your quarterback against as bad of a defense as the Vikings is, but with him being a rookie and with the scheme being so poorly fit to him, that's a pretty good stat sheet to put up. Now we go on to the goods of the defense. Of course, the first thing we have to talk about is the Sam Franklin Jr. 99-yard pick six, his first career interception going for six, and it was the longest pick six of the franchise's history, being pretty much the entire length of the field. He jumped a fantastic route on a ball meant to go to KJ Osborne, I believe, and just took that thing all the way to the house, and had a great block by number 29, Jamison, on our team, who also had a really hard hit on Justin Jefferson that actually knocked the wind out of him. But other than that, really good. And also you had Camus Grudje Hill, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm terrible with that, so if I'm mispronouncing it, sorry, but he had a really good pick after I'm sorry, I'm flustered because I'm still frustrated. I'm recording this right after the game, but right after Cousins would hit inside the pocket as he was throwing, the ball was up in the air. He did a great job at finding it and getting under it for a pick, and put the offense in another really good position right at the end of that, right around the end of the first half. And when it comes to the good, that's it. Yeah, there's nothing good after that. So we're about to get into the real meat potatoes of this video. So the bad. Of course, we have to go into offensive play calling, because the offensive play calling, once again, was conservative as all fuck and just didn't fucking work. If you're going to be conservative with your play calling, you need to draw up plays that get you at least 3 yards on average. But no, we saw even more halfback dives from Miles Sanders, which have not worked this entire goddamn season. We saw more terrible screens to wide receivers who shouldn't be running screens. We saw terrible run blocking from the offensive line. We saw terrible pass blocking for Bryce Young. There were a few times where he had time in the pocket and he was able to step up and usually made good throws at that point. But we had pretty bad blitz pickups. When the Vikings defense decided to blitz, they were doing a pretty good job getting through, and that is not good for a young quarterback who tends to fumble if he gets hit. And that's another big thing. Bryce Young, while he played well actually passing the ball and doing his quarterback stuff, he's been a little bit concerning when it comes to his being able to retain the ball when he's getting sacked. He has now, I think, 3 fumbles this season, and all of them being for a loss. And the fumble in this game ended up being, picked up and scooped and scored for what was the turning point of the game. In the beginning of the game, there was actually a pretty good amount of offensive movement going, but once we got to the red zone, eventually the offense just falls apart and cannot actually punch it in at the final stage, which is absolutely infuriating because there was one drive where Bryce Young made 2 throws, one to Ian Thomas and one to DJ Chark, which hit Thomas in the hands and then hit Chark in the face, and yet we're not brought in for that score. So there are 2 touchdowns that Bryce Young threw in the same drive that really could have made a difference that were just dropped by the receivers being unable to turn around. And speaking of receivers unable to turn around, Hayden Hurst on a run-pass option really didn't turn around in time and had the open field in front of him to be able to make a pretty good gain, but just completely missed and almost got picked off by Harrison Smith. And the final main point I want to go over that I wrote down from actually watching the game is that we have once again more defensive injuries. Dante Jackson is apparently nursing a shoulder injury now, and we don't know if that is just a game thing, if that's going to be a multi-week thing. But yeah, that's great because we already had such a great secondary, right? So, I mean, yeah, we have the depth. It's not like we're going to have to put undrafted free agents on some of the best wide receivers in the league now. We very well might be putting Troy Hill, Deshaun Jameson against Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I want you to think about that for a second and realize how fucked we are. Now, then the question comes, why are we having these issues? Scott Fitterer said that we were ready to compete now and that all you had to do was drop a QB into this roster. Well, we're 0-4 now, and we know that, frankly, that is bullshit, because there's only been one team ever to go to the playoffs after starting 0-4. Pretty sure that was the 92 Chargers. So, we're not doing anything now. We're stuck in hell. We have to know that this season's pretty much done, because all the fucking statistics and math says it's done. We're fucked. And when it comes to the division, we already have 2 losses in the division, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get better because we're going up against 2 really good teams in the next coming weeks. So, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. I frankly don't fucking know. This roster that Scott Fitterer has built, it's not working. And because of all the misses in the draft, the fact that we're not even seeing DJ Johnson do shit on the field, the fact that we're not even putting, like, Robinson in, stuff like that, I don't think he should be the GM anymore after this year. I think he should be fired sooner rather than later unless he's able to pull a trade for a premium wide receiver out of his ass with the lack of draft capital we have. Then I don't think he deserves a job anymore because he has built a roster that is shit. Claimed that you can just drop a QB in, and then nothing has worked. And even then, you have to start looking at Frank Reich, who for some reason looks like he's Matt Rule 2.0. And I've been avoiding saying that because I think it's freaking stupid to say because it's in his first year with the team. But we are now a quarter of the way through the season, and we have seen nothing change. And that's the only thing I've been wanting to see is something change, but the script is the same thing every game. The offense does nothing in the first half while the defense is playing great and keeping it close enough that we may have a chance in the second half. But the second half rolls around, the offense once again does nothing, usually goes three and out immediately in the third if they get the ball first, and then the defense finally breaks because they're tired as fuck, and then the other team runs away with the win. It has been the same exact script for the past 4 weeks, and I'm losing my fucking mind over it. The play calling has to stop being in Reich's hands because we have seen now over the first quarter of the season that it's not working with him calling the plays. We are the only team that lets their head coach call the plays. Give it to Thomas Brown and let him cook. You need to do it for as long as you can because guess what? Both of our coordinators, Evero and Brown, they are going to be head coaching candidates at the end of this year, and you may lose your coordinators at the end. So why are we letting them just sit on the sidelines not doing anything while Reich ruins the offense? Evero is probably gone by the end of the year no matter what because the defense is showing with as shit as a team and with how many injuries he has still is absolutely fantastic. So I'm expecting him to be gone at the end of this year and taking a head coaching job. And with Thomas Brown, he was already in runnings for head coaching positions. So why would we not expect for that same thing to happen for any head coach needy team? They're gonna see that we're not using him. Thomas Brown's gonna know he's not being used correctly, so of course he's gonna leave for the next best opportunity. The most extreme thoughts in my head is that I want to fire Frank Reich and promote Thomas Brown to head coach and find a new fucking offensive coordinator. But I know that's not going to happen because it would be crazy to do that the first year of Reich being here. But because we have not even seen adjustments to change anything on offense, then I think my thoughts have reasoning. I think it's no longer extreme to say that because you can't trust your head coach to be a coach and change the way he's doing things, even though we are seeing with concrete evidence that it does not fucking work. Running a halfback dive with Miles Sanders and then running a halfback dive with whatever back you feel like and then running a fucking screen for a short pass, that's not the recipe to success on the offense, and yet that is the thing we see almost every game. No matter how banged up this team is by injuries, and trust me, they are banged up, you should not be seeing the offense not change anything through the course of 4 weeks and 4 losses. And you could put 3 losses solely on the offense, too. The Seattle game, the defense got pretty tired, let up a good few more points than they usually do, and the offense was actually able to cook a little bit more. But even then, you still can't blame the defense. They're just tired because we still went 3 and out a whole fucking lot. You know it's bad when I no longer trust our GM and our first-year head coach to lead this team anymore to success, because they have shown time and time again that they will not change their own formula to find it. On defense, all I really want to see is the run defense get better, because Evero has shown that he can take even this battered up secondary and do pretty good at locking down even the best receivers in NFL. Of course, you're going to let up a few plays, but with how battered they are, I've been very impressed with how hard they play, even when you're down to like your 5th string cornerback. But when it comes to the offense, what I want to see improved is fucking everything. Bryce Young, you as a quarterback have been playing absolutely fine. You've been not allowed to play the way you should be playing. The scheme does not fit you in any sort of fucking way. Bryce Young has been so utterly misused that there are people already calling him a bust, even though he's played 3 games in his entire career and has no help on offense whatsoever. Do we have a premium tight end? No. Hayden Hurst is all right, but he ain't premium. Do we have a premium wide receiver? No. We have a wide... Thielen has shown that he can be wide receiver 1, but he still ain't premium. He's aging, and he's better as a red zone threat, but guess what? Doesn't work if all the red zone plays are goddamn ass. Do we have a speedy wide receiver? Not if Chark keeps letting balls hit him in the fucking face. Do we have a special slot guy? Not if Terrace Marshall keeps fumbling the ball almost every time he gets tackled. And for some reason, every time we see Laviska Shenault touch the ball, good things almost always happen, and yet he's standing next to Frank Reich so many times when there are crucial downs being played, where we could really use him on the field. Do we have a premium running back? Nope. Miles Sanders is playing absolutely awful behind our offensive line, and Chuba Hubbard, why I said he played a pretty good game today, is not being utilized in the way he should be either. Do we have any premium offensive linemen? We have Taylor Moton, who I would say is a good offensive lineman, way above average. We have Ikem Ekwonu, who when he's not committing penalties and failing to pick up blitzes, really does just throttle the fuck out of whatever his assignment is. And then we have Bradley Bozeman, who's a pretty dependable center and will take the penalty if it means not getting his quarterback hit. And then you also have the 2 guards, which are... I can't say too much about them because they're not supposed to be starting in the first place, but they're pretty bad. They're not doing great. Not terrible. Definitely not great. But that means the offensive line as a whole is just absolutely below average and takes so many penalties, which means that if Bryce Young does make a play, half the times it's called back because of a penalty. And then you also have the fact that the team is made for downhill, like push the mantle running. We have no back that can do that. We should have kept Deontay Foreman if we were going to keep the offensive line built like a downhill running team. And then you have the offensive line not great at pass blocking, which is not good when your quarterback is 5'10", 200 pounds soaking wet. Yeah, Bryce Young has shown he can take a fucking hit, but you still don't want him to be taking hits no matter how big he is. These next 2 weeks are going to show really, really bad exactly how terrible the Panthers are as a football team. They're going to be going up against some high-flying offenses, and they're going to be going up against some defenses that can really cause trouble for a rookie quarterback, especially the pass rush of the Lions and the secondary of the Dolphins. Versus our guys, those aren't good matchups you want to see. And I've been very vocal that I do not have a problem benching Bryce Young if Frank Reich is not going to fix the scheme for him. And at this point, with 0-4 and no sign that he's doing that, I don't want to ruin Bryce Young's career by either getting him killed out there behind a trash offensive line or ruin his confidence by making him think he's the problem, when in reality, it's coaching that's the problem. No matter what, I'm still going to be a fan of this team, even though it hurts me just oh so much. It just really does. It absolutely pains me to have to watch this team all the time and just see nothing improve over the years. But I'm a Charlotte native. I'm never going to be leaving this team. So always keep pounding. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.